Hey everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Crafts. I am coming by this morning to do a tutorial on one of these polymer clay journal covers. Now, first of all, it's going to be a bit difficult to do, so I'm basically just going to show you the basics of how I went about it. Because if I show you, for instance, doing the Valentine or something, that it may not be what you want to do. So more than likely your journal cover is going to be your journal cover. So I'm just going to start out by showing you what I did. So I've got a template just made out of scrapbook paper, scrap of scrapbook paper. And all I did was slide the sheet under the cover, trace around it, and cut it out. I'm going to make 2 cardboard covers, and I'm just going to use recycled cardboard like a soda box or a cracker box or something like that. So that's what I'm going to start out doing. So get your cardboard and let's get going. Alright. Just plain white craft glue. And the other thing I would suggest is to stop your cover short, because these little composition notebooks, they tend to have a fold right there where the cover will open. So you don't want to go past there with your polymer clay. And you don't have to cover it with cardboard, but you will get a sturdier cover that's less likely to break your polymer clay, because it is rather thin. And this is just going to be a music themed cover for everybody that was creeped out by the eyeball. Because my husband was too. He said he thought it was staring at him. Alright. So just glue your covers on. I did make them just a bit larger than the cover itself. You can trim that afterwards if you choose to. And because my husband is the type that makes friends easily and is a handy guy to have around, he gets cardboard from just about all the local businesses around. So this came from the dollar store with some signage from something on a display at the dollar store. Nice white cardboard with a yellow and black backing. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is I've got some black. This is just Primo clay, and you're going to need to roll it out the size of the cover, or whatever size you intend to do. You can do like I did on the detective one and do smaller bits and glue them on after you've covered the cover with some scrapbook paper or whatever you choose. So I'm going to roll this black out, and then I've got some white, which is not nearly as nice and soft as the black is, but it's cold here this morning, so I'm going to roll out some white also. Alright, now I've got the black and the white rolled out, and for the cover itself, you can just take your template that you made to make the cover with, and excuse my sleeves this morning. find them a bit distracting. Alright, and I wouldn't worry about where it's short and save the black clay that's rolled out. We're going to use it. Alright, and I got asked this a bunch of times whether I actually baked it on the book or baked it and then put it on the book. The first couple I did actually bake them on the book. Didn't seem to hurt them. It might have possibly rumpled the pages just a bit, but I couldn't really tell that. Let's see. Might have made the cover just a little wonky. Compared to, let's say, see? It wasn't really much of a difference. So, I've got my larger glass tile here. And I'll leave the paper under it just so we can see a little better. Alright. Let's see, I've got a stamp that is music note stamp. Music note stamp. Alright. These are just some stamp sheets that I believe came from an auction. Given to me by a friend of mine. Alright, so now we've got some texture on it. I'm going to take this white. This is going to be a piano keyboard. Alright, let's see what else we can add. Alright, this says, I'm not going to read it again. All the sounds of the earth are like music. So, I want it kind of straight. It is a bit difficult working with black and white because they want to contaminate each other. So all your little flecks of white are going to want to stick to the black. Now, to make this look like a piano keyboard, alright, I just moved the cover off to the side. I've just got my knitting needle, and I'm going to make some evenly spaced Alright. Now, decide which end you want your black keys. And grab the scrap black clay. Just going to straighten up the edge. I didn't like the end. And remember how a piano keyboard goes. You'll have 2 black keys and then 3 black keys. Alright, there we go, our piano keyboard. Alright, now I can still see my stamp. And I've got the keyboard on there. Alright. Alright. I just took a couple of more stamps. And if you'd noticed when I stamped the first stamp, I'd cut off the the beginnings of the quote, so I just pieced a piece down the edge, lined up the music note stamp, and re-stamped the beginning of the quote. And then I put a little seal quote that's on that same stamp set, and I did another stamp right here, which is Aria. Alright, I'm gonna put this in the oven, and yes, I'm gonna bake it right on the cardstock, although probably not this piece of cardstock. So you want to gently, so as hopefully not to stretch the cover. And actually, now that I said that, I'm going to put it back on the glass. Alright, and then I'm going to bake it just at 275, and I'll probably do it for about 30 minutes, possibly 40. Alright. Alright. Okay, here it is out of the oven. And I think I'm going to decide to do the rest of the decorating before I glue it onto the cover. So I've just got my Inka Gold, and this is the silver color. Now I'm going to take some blue. This is the steel blue, and you can do this with acrylic paints, or you could do it with Pearl-Ex powders or perfect pearls before you bake the clay. Now I've got, if I can hold on to it, I've got the lava red. And last, I've got the green yellow. Probably could have done that in a better order, but I started out, I was going to do this just in black and white. Then I kind of changed my mind a little bit. Alright, that's not bad. Alright, now if you wanted to add any more 3D type of details, now would be the time that you would do that. As I sort through my bags of colored clay. I normally buy my basic colors in the 1 pound size, and I keep them down in the bottom drawer inside Ziploc bags. Excuse me. And then I just cut off what I need and put it in another Ziploc bag labeled up here on my desk. Alright, I've rolled out a little bit of white. And this time I'm going to take this smaller scale music note stamp. And maybe I won't. Alright, that's a little better. I just want to give it a jagged edge. Alright. We're going to make this a little charm to hang off. So I'm going to roll the corner just a bit. And then I'm going to flip it around and do the opposite corner. Just a bit. You don't want to fold it over. You just want to give it a bit of a roll. Although it wouldn't hurt it, but it might crack on this kind of chilly morning. Alright. And since this is going to just be a charm, I'm just going to poke a hole. Instead of drilling it out afterwards. Alright. There we go. That'll be cute. Alright. So basically the cover is done. And you can go ahead and glue it on. You can use E6000 if you like, or some glossy accents, which just happens to be what I have. I happen to be out of E6000 right now. So I'm going to glue it on with glossy accents. And if you've ever used it, yes, it has the worst pain in the behind lid. That you have to poke every time. I don't care if you just used it 10 minutes ago. Excuse my arm and being off frame. And no, it doesn't seem to matter if you wipe the lid or anything else. Still makes it hard to use next time. And I'm sorry if I didn't show that. I had just painted with black acrylic paint around the edge of the cover, so that any of the cover that showed would kind of be hidden. Alright, in the back I just covered with some scrapbook paper. Alright, all the sounds of the earth are like music. And this says aria. It just happened to be a set of music stamps that I had. A partial set. Alright. Cute, cute, cute. Now you could go back and antique it with some black acrylic paint if you wanted. That would bring out the text just a little bit more, and it would also give you a little bit more definition between the keys on the keyboard. Alright, here is the music sheet, and all I did was paint it black with black acrylic paint, and then I wiped it off. And if it dries first, just squirt it with some water and keep wiping. It'll come off. And then I went back over it with the silver Inka Gold and just highlighted the raised bits. And this is just a bead that I'd made for another project that I didn't use. Alright, and the jump ring here, all I did was glue it between the polymer clay cover and the cover of the journal with just a little glossy accents. And let it dry. Now, the acrylic paint that I'm using for the antiquing on the cover is an antiquing gel. If you don't have an antiquing gel, can't find it, All it is acrylic paint that's got a bit of extender in it, which it's not necessary at all, but it does give it a little slower drying time. On the little charm, I just used regular acrylic paint. I believe Deco Arts makes a full line of antiquing products. Alright. So I have my world's nastiest towel, as my husband calls it, but it's for wiping off paint, so I'm not sure why he thinks I would get a new one. And from time to time, yes, I throw it in the wash. When I can't find a clean spot on it anymore. Alright, and if you don't like how it darkened the Inka Golds that we put on there, you can always put more on. Or I wouldn't suggest doing what I just did. Alright, after I fixed my mess up, all I did was rub on some more of the Inka Gold. After it dries just a minute or so, give it a good buff with a soft cloth. And then I went over it with a gloss glaze, and this is just, it's actually Rustoleum brand, just came from the hardware store, but it's the water-based version. You always want to make sure you're using a water-based sealer on your polymer clay whenever you can. And I know there's lots of people tell you lots of different things, so make your own choices, but I would say use a water-based sealer. It comes in a matte, a satin, a semi-gloss, a regular gloss. It's actually made for furniture and floors, and that's the department you'll find it in at the hardware store. So it's a water-based Rustoleum, and it's an ultra polyurethane, an ultimate polyurethane is what it's called. Alright, so I just went over the whole thing minus the keyboard with that, and as you can see, it has a nice shine, and a lot of that is from the rubbing of the Inka Gold. Alright, so now all that's left to do is just hang your charm. Alright, And there you go, a polymer clay journal cover. I know it was kind of a simple one that I made it as difficult as I possibly could. But I think it'll give you the idea. The steps involved in just enhancing the cover with a little cardboard, a little recycled cardboard, making the cover and gluing it on. And like I said before, you can bake it on there or not. It didn't really seem to matter one way or the other. So, alright. Turned out really cute. I like it. I shall holler at y'all later. Bye now.